The console wars is back for the very last time. This is the final round, and only one console will come out on top. The battle has been long and unexpectedly even. In the previous round we took a look into the future, and in the finale we're going to be looking at the top 3 failures of both consoles. We're going to be focusing on the weakest links in a long chain of features. So get ready for some heavyweight game console action. It's LP from Techno Buffalo, welcoming you to the 12th and final installment of the Console Wars. So in the last round, I looked into the future and made a lot of predictions about what's to come. And before we get into the conclusion, let's update some points that have come to light after this year's Electronic Entertainment Expo. In the previous round, I kinda went out on the limb and guessed around a bit about the future features. And I will go to admit that some of my predictions were intentionally a bit controversial. And going through the thousands of comments here at Techno Buffalo and YouTube, I was kinda surprised to notice that the battle between motion controllers got a really strong response and kind of ignited a flame war. The PlayStation Move and the newly named Kinect for Xbox were also the talk at E3. Both Microsoft and Sony had a lot to show about their new motion controllers, and the whole expo was full of different peripherals for motion-controlled games. As a core gamer, in all honesty, motion-controlled games aren't too high on my list. For me personally, gaming is a relaxing experience. After work, I want to come home, sit back and relax, and enjoy a game. Now, does this look like relaxing? Every single game Microsoft had to show for Kinect, there's people jumping around like idiots. And the gaming equals relaxing point is pretty much why I've had to revert my view about the Kinect. From what I learned from E3, you cannot play the Xbox 360 Kinect while sitting down. Apparently the sensor has trouble distinguishing from interlapping joints, knees, hips, and elbows while seated. But the biggest fail that really turned my view about the Kinect was the utter and total lack of core games. Not a single game for the Xbox 360's current audience base. I'm sure there was a Star Wars demo, but it was hardly playable. It was pre-rendered, and the actor showcasing the game was actually ahead of the movements for parts of the game. The Kinect sports game was kinda cool, but running in your place and jumping over hurdles was something I was doing back in the Nintendo 8-bit days. And do not get me going about the Kinectimals game. Overall, I was hardly impressed by the content. As a core gamer, I expected more, especially from a console that has branded itself as a hardcore gaming platform. And the $150 price tag of the Kinect won't help at all. As for the PlayStation Move, the device pretty much did what I expected it to do. What Sony showed at E3 emphasized that the device is basically a Wii HD. While Sony has taken the safe route, seeing the Move in action at E3, already implemented into games like Heavy Rain, is enough proof of concept for me. And yes, you can use the Move controller while sitting down. So basically I jumped ship over E3 about the motion controllers, but from the perspective of a core gamer, how could I not? Microsoft failed to show anything that the Kinect can offer to the hardcore. But the most surprising thing about E3 was that while Microsoft and Sony were duking it out for the casual audience, Nintendo was sneaking in with an amazing lineup for the hardcore. That almost made me regret not including the Wii into the console wars. But thankfully, both Microsoft and Sony had an impressive lineup of exclusive and multi-platform games planned for the future. So even though the recent push for the casual audience, surely neither company is abandoning its core audience. Sony had a fairly big surprise for the core audience when Gabe Newell stepped on stage to announce Portal 2. It's great to see Valve finally admitting it was wrong and starting to make games for the PS3.
It's been a long time.
Another topic that needs updating from the previous round is the PSN Premium service, which has now been officially announced and named the PSN Plus. Unfortunately, like I predicted, the most interesting features covered in the list of rumors I went through in the previous round have been debunked. No cross-game voice chat, no free unlimited access to PlayStation Classics, and no competitive mode. You will be getting some monthly free content from PSN, early access to betas and demos, and full game trials, but hardly anything that can compete with the features of Xbox Live. So I'm sticking with what I said. Xbox Live will continue to dominate, regardless of the PSN Plus service. Also at E3, the new Xbox, or the Xbox 360 Slim, was launched. And it's pretty much comparable with the PS3 Slim. It's smaller in size, less noisy, and it looks sleeker than its fat older brother. But best of all, the new Xbox has built-in Wi-Fi, which adds some definite bang for the buck if you're looking to buy an Xbox 360 and plan to use a wireless connection. Alrighty, those were my E3 updates of the console wars. Let's move on to cover a very crucial topic that needs to be assessed. During these past 12 rounds, we've gone through the highlights of what the PS3 and Xbox 360 do best. In this last round, I thought I'd share my honest opinion about the two consoles' biggest faults and failings. These are the features or lack thereof that may become deal breakers or may just end up breaking your console. Next up is the Console Wars Top 3 of Fail. Number 3 for the PS3, online communication. I for one was expecting some more extensive community features from the upcoming PSN Plus service. Still no party system, nor is there cross-game voice chat. The community features on the PS3 feel somewhat disconnected and superficial. PlayStation Home feels like an entirely separate experience that's not helped by tediously long loading times. Mutual game launching with friends is pretty much negated if it takes 5 minutes to get to the place where you can launch the game. So ultimately, PlayStation Home is fail, and the social and community features on the PSN leave much room for improvement. And the lack of a decent Facebook or Twitter client definitely add to this issue. I also have to mention that censoring the use of swear words in the chat is a dumb idea, especially if the program recognizes every third Finnish word as a swear word, making communication in my native language frustrating as hell. Number 3 for the Xbox 360. Forced Xbox Live Gold for online gaming. We've gone through this before in the online features round, but it's a fact that I haven't gotten over. I'm a pretty serious gamer, I have a decent gaming PC, I own a Nintendo Wii, a PS3 and Xbox 360, and the only platform where I'm forced to pay for playing online is on the Xbox. I use all 4 platforms for gaming, and I may not have time to play online on each platform every month. It's not so much the dent in the wallet because Xbox Live is fairly cheap. It's more the principle of having to pay for something I can do on the other platforms for free. I have a lot of friends who are semi-casual gamers but who also enjoy some hardcore games, and they were not willing to pay the subscription fee to be able to play online, and they went with the PS3. The subscription fee alone has limited the amount of friends I have using an Xbox, and that's what I hate the most. Also, as much as I like playing online, I enjoy the single-player experience even more, and I might spend a month or two just playing a single-player game. Now, for the time I spend playing a single-player game, I'd rather not pay a subscription fee for something I don't use. I'm happy to pay for all the great online features Xbox Live has to offer, but forcing people to pay to get a chance to play a couple of rounds of Call of Duty online is not cool. I expect that to be included in the $60 price tag of the game.